Hi everyone, welcome back to the Boxers Lights game channel. This is a bit of a quick filler series, and the game we're going to play is Dominion. And this is going to be something a little bit different for you because I've got the base set here and I've got Prosperity. I'm going to show you some solo rules. So this is kind of a variant that I've just created myself that allows me to play solo, but a lot of you will recognise the strategy that I'm going to use to play this solo game. So it may seem familiar to people who know this game. And the solo variant can work with if you just have the base set, but also if you have Prosperity as well. For anyone who's watching who doesn't know Dominion, it's a deck building game for 2 to 4 players. And what I'm going to do in this solo variant is I'm going to play one player and I'm going to have a dummy player playing the second player on a fixed strategy. So we're going to start going through a regular setup for a 2-player game. The base set comes with copper, silver, gold, and Prosperity adds platinum. So these are our treasure cards. And these are our victory cards. We have estates, duchies and province, which come with the base game. And Prosperity adds colonies, which are worth 10 victory points, province 6, duchy 3, estate 1s. And for a 2-player game, or in a solo using a dummy player, there's 8 cards in each pile. Next to the curse cards and the trash pile is just given by this little trash card here. And for a 2-player game or solo using a dummy player, 10 curse cards. These are worth -1 victory points. They may or may not be used in our game. Let's see how this plays out. The rest of our cards are called kingdom cards. You only have 10 kingdom cards for the game, but there's many different varieties. So Prosperity adds a whole bunch of new ones in addition to the ones that you get with the base set. Again, if you want to play solo and you only have the base set, that's perfectly fine. We're just going to modify the rules for the dummy player slightly. Okay? And what you get with the base set and what you get with Prosperity is one of these cards, and they have slightly different backs too. These are regular kingdom cards here. And there's one here which just represents that type of card. And it's got a slightly different coloured back, and you get one for each type of kingdom card that you have. So I've just shuffled all of the kingdom cards for Prosperity and the base set together. Okay, so you've got things like Chancellor, Expand, Grand Market, Chapel, Cellar, Forge, Bank. Okay, and what we want to do is select 10 types of kingdom card, and this is what I use this deck for. It's just to allow you to randomly select 10 different types of kingdom card. Okay, once we're finished shuffling, then this will allow me to pick 10 different cards. Now you can see it's quite a thick deck, and I'm going to pull off 10 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, so you can imagine there's lots of different variations you can play with this game, because every time you play a new game you're going to draw a potentially different set of 10 kingdom cards. So there's tons of replayability and variability with this game. Alright, let's have a look at what we've got. These won't be used now for the rest of the game, they were just randomizer cards. Whereas these are going to show us which of our kingdom cards we're going to use for the game. First off, we have Monty Bank. So I place this face down here. I find Monty Bank. I take the little stack of 10 Monty Banks, and that becomes one of my 10 kingdom cards. So I'm going to go and do that. Let me just show you what else we have here. We have Forge, Chancellor, Loan, Moneylender, Vault, Bishop, Grand Market, Moat, and Throne Room. Okay, so I'm going to set these up just by grabbing each of these 10 stacks of kingdom cards and forming the rest of my setup. Okay, I've got my full set of 10 kingdom cards all set up now, so 10 sets of 10 cards. This becomes our play area in totality. The next thing to do is set up our player decks. Each player, so that's me and the dummy player, each get 3 estates. And then we deal 7 copper cards to each player. 3, 6, 7, 3, 6, 7, and we give them a shuffle, and that's our starting decks, both for me and for the dummy player. Okay? Now, one good way of shuffling these is kind of with this kind of shuffle. When you've got a few cards in the deck, it also means you don't kind of bend the cards up too much. Now, to help us with the game, I'm going to spot the dummy player over here. But after we finish shuffling, the dummy player is always going to go first. The first thing we do is deal 5 cards to the dummy player and 5 cards to ourselves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards for my hand. This is my draw pile, this is my hand. Right, dummy player first. Okay, so we've got 5 cards, and all we're going to have to play out of dummy is whatever treasure is available, each hand. Okay, so in this case we add up the treasure, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we spend that treasure. Now the strategy for dummy players is going to be pretty straightforward. We got 4 gold. What that tells me is I'm going to buy a silver right now. Okay, so here's the strategy. With 0 gold we buy nothing. With 1 gold we buy nothing. With 2 gold we buy nothing. With 3 gold we buy a silver. With 4 gold we buy a silver. With 5 gold we buy a victory point, a duchy. With 6 gold we buy a gold. With 7 we buy a gold. With 8 we buy a province. With 9 we buy a platinum. With 10 we buy a platinum. With 11 we buy a colony. With anything over 11 we buy a colony. Alright? So that's our strategy. We don't buy estates. Now when the game the game of Dominion ends when either this pile is empty, or if we're playing with prosperity, when either this pile or this pile is empty. So what we're going to do is we're going to play this basic strategy, buy the most expensive card from this set as you can afford, with the exception of when we get down to only 2 cards left in here or in here, at which point we're going to change strategy for the dummy player slightly. And what we're going to do then is we're going to concentrate on buying just victory points, and we're not going to stop buying treasure. So the strategy simply becomes buy the most expensive victory point you can afford once these get to 2 cards in each deck. So with 4 gold, the most expensive card we can afford from this set is silver. And we never buy copper, and we never buy estates. Okay, so it's really the most expensive card we can afford out of these 6. So we're going to buy a silver. And once we buy silver, this goes into our discard pile, as do all these cards. Okay, and then we draw another 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ready for the next hand. Okay, now it's my go. Right, so pretty basic, pretty simple stuff. Okay, let's see what I've got. And we're going to speed this up a little bit so I can give you a proper playthrough. Well, I've drawn 5 copper. So with my 5 copper, I can choose to buy whatever I wish, right? I don't have a fixed strategy. This is the point. Now I can make the most of kingdom cards, victory points, treasure, however I see fit. So with my 5, I'm going to buy a vault. Now here's a good thing, and this is another point about some of these cards are kind of interactive. So this says plus 2 cards, discard any number of cards, plus 1 copper per card discarded. Each other player may discard 2 cards. If he does, he draws a card. Now it says each other player may discard 2 cards. Right, so it's an optional thing. Our dummy player, doesn't have may discard 2 cards if he does draws a card. This is not part of his strategy. Because it's a may, what it basically means is our dummy player is not going to take advantage of this should he want to, or should it be to his benefit, right? So we're going to keep things nice and simple for our dummy player. Alright, you may say, well, that means vault becomes a little bit more valuable. Well, this is the thing. As long as we're playing the game by our rules, and the solo rules say that the dummy player has this non-intelligent treasure strategy, then everyone knows where we stand, right? And when we play a game, we know we're playing by the same rules, and we can compare apples with apples in terms of comparing our scores against one another or against our old best score. Alright, so anyway, that's what I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy a Volt. So this goes in my discard pile, as does my hand. And then I draw back up to 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, now it's dummy player's turn.